Good evening, my loves. Thank you all so much for your patience and for being here tonight. Let me tell you, tonight's topic, I can already answer my own question. Are you falling for food and circus? Yes, because the enemy has been busy. I don't proclaim sickness or like tiredness or anything like that, but I literally just woke up a few minutes ago. This is such an important message. I have been preparing for this message for a few weeks now, right? I have been praying about it. I've been preparing for it. I've been working with my husband on it just to make sure we got this message right. That is how important this message is. And we have had a whirlwind of a weekend. Our daughter Shelby, she had a competition this weekend and we had a full family weekend. Will had to go back to work early this morning, catch an early flight. So our days, when he has to go back to work are always a bit crazy. And I kind of just let the day get away from me. So I apologize ahead of time if my normal energy is not present, but I will let you know this. My husband showed up. I said, baby, I need some rest. I'm going to lay down. I need you to look over my notes, like make sure I didn't miss anything, fill in the gaps for me, like put some extra zhuzh in there. And my husband came through with the stuff, okay? So the lesson tonight, he is fully like, I got my husband with me, okay? So the lesson's gonna be good tonight. So let me go ahead and just acknowledge, for those of you who are new, my name is Deanna. I am the love guide, right? And welcome to Destination Deanna. I want you to consider Destination Deanna your self-help learning library for all things love. More specifically, I teach love attraction mastery. So I teach the principles of how you can attract the greatest love experiences into your life. So that's romantic love, that is your own personal development so you can love yourself more and give out love as well. So let's see who is checking in. My amazing husband. Thank you so much, honey, for always being here. Oh, my Queen's Court ladies are checking in. Hey, Alice. Oh, it's BJ. I'm so glad you're here. Hey. I don't know what's going on. I can't see who you are, Facebook user, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you. See, thank you. I look lovely, a little sleepy. Girl, I'll take a little sleepy because I've been knocked out for hours. So I'll take that. Hey, Bree. Bree, thank you so much too. Will called me and said that you all were representing on Shaka's live. So thank you so much for showing up. Hey, Jamie, thank you for showing up. Appreciate having you here. Yes, I know you got me always, baby. Thank you so much. And my mom is in the background. So if you guys hear her, she can't contain herself. This is a good lesson tonight. All right. So are you falling for food and circus? So as always, we get started with what is the intention for tonight's lesson? So my intention is to shed light on a tactic that is used, whether it is purposely used or not purposely, to distract you on your love journey. So I'm shedding light on this so that you are not distracted on your love journey, right? And let's be clear what I'm not doing. Okay, because I'm gonna give you some examples. I'm gonna point out some things, and you may see these things happening in your dating experience or in your relationship. So let me be clear what I'm not doing. I'm not saying that every date, every gesture, every meal, every man, everything that is extravagant or impressive in display. I'm not saying that that should be reduced to food and circus. Okay? So I'm saying that off top. That is the disclaimer. That's what I'm not doing. So you really have to pay attention to the lesson, and you have to ask your questions in the Q&A session that's going to happen after the lesson, okay? So let's get to it. So what is food and circus? Okay. You can do further research on this because I'm not a historian. I'm not here to tell you, hey, this is the exact history of food and circus. I'm just going to give you one of the ways that I learned of food and circus and give you a little bit of the history. But I'm not going to say that this is the historical fact of it. There's many different origin stories, but I'm just going to give you a general history of it so you'll know where it came from. All right, so food and circus is like a phrase, and it was used by a Roman writer to deplore the declining heroism of Romans after the Roman Republic ceased to exist and the Roman Empire began. So it's like two things only the people anxiously desire: bread and circuses. So in essence, the government kept the Roman Empire happy by distributing food and staging huge spectacles. So it's like they kept them distracted from what was really going on by feeding them and giving them like these huge like gestures and distractions. Okay, so that's what it's meant by food and circus. And how I learned of this is some years ago when I was a commoner and I had to work. I worked for this huge travel company, and they were notorious for not giving us like raises and like righting their wrongs, but they would always like throw us pizza parties and like do like employee outings. Food and circus. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I know that I have a mixed audience. Some of you are like single, and some of you single, like happily single, and you're like just on a journey to loving yourself more. And some of you are single and you're actively like dating. You are desiring to attract your person. And then some of you are in relationships that are maybe not going well and you want to either improve them, or you're working up the courage to leave, or you're in great relationships or marriages and you're still looking to just keep them great and improve them. So the way I'm going to teach the lesson tonight is I'm first going to break down how food and circus shows up in single and dating, or in long-term relationships and marriage. Okay, so first it's single and dating. So how does this show up in single and dating? So here's where you would want to take notes. For my singles and those who are dating, it's going to show up in gifts and entertainment. Now, that doesn't mean, all gifts and entertainment are a bad thing. We love gifts. We love the entertainment. But we don't love the gifts and entertainment that are of the food and circus kind. So what do I mean by that? They show up when someone uses gifts and entertainment to avoid moments where real conversations or real connections are being avoided, right? So if they just constantly want to keep you distracted by nice things, if they just want you to always be impressed by a nice gift or like going somewhere nice, but they don't ever want to get beyond the surface, right? If they don't ever want to get deep, they don't ever want to disclose anything deep about themselves, they don't ever want to know anything deep about you. If it's just always up here and they want to impress you with that, that is food and circus. Talk to me, guys. Let me know in the comments. Are you picking up what I'm putting down about the difference between a gift and like entertainment that is um like a good way where someone is impressing you, that is building, or something that is just for the sake of trying to distract you? But I want to be clear about the difference in that. Cool. Okay. Of course. Of course, my Queen's Court gets it. We know the difference. This is like a recap for them. All right. The next thing would be what I call breadcrumbing, right? And this is when a person kind of decides to just do enough to keep stringing you along through like mixed messages and periodic check ins. So they're lacking the kind of consistency, right? They're not consistently having communication that's meaningful. They're like going to drop in here and there where it's enough to say, hey, I'm calling, I'm sending a good morning text, but it's not enough of consistency where you feel like a real connection is being built. So it's not every day, it's not something you can count on, but it's enough that you can't like quite put your finger on the fact that it's not happening. So that's making sense. Okay, Brianna said this happened to me. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of these, like when I go through this list, you'll be able to identify that these things have happened for sure. All right, so the next one, like single and dating, is flirting without real intimacy. Because flirting in itself is not just food and circus. It's not a bad thing. It can be fun, it can be healthy, it can be enjoyable. However, when it's used to kind of just keep your attention and keep you excited, but there's no real intimacy being built, that is food and circus. When it's just to kind of get you riled up and to kind of keep you kind of wanting more and coming close, but it's not like pulling you closer to intimacy and commitment, that's food and circus. Okay, you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Makes sense. Okay, and the final one for like single and dating is gestures to appease. Okay, so gestures on their own should be kind of expected. When you're dating and getting to know someone, you want someone to make gestures. You want someone to be thoughtful and think of things and kind of do things for you. That is a part of the process of getting to know someone. But you don't want gestures to appease you because they have no real intention of having a relationship. They're just doing what they need to do to get close to you. They're doing what they need to do to get you to lower your guard. But it's no real intention for commitment or like building real intimacy. So those gestures, again, they're food and circus. Got it. And, you know, it just kind of hit me in my spirit because I know one of the questions is probably going to be like, how will you know the difference? You'll know the difference because it will feel surface. If you don't allow yourself to get caught in the fuzzy, right? You can feel the fuzzy in the initial, right? That can feel good. It can feel nice to get the gestures, the gifts, the flirting, the attention. All of those things are good. This is why it's important to know when it's food or circus, because these are all good things. They feel great. But there needs to be something underneath it. It can't just be the surface of it. So there needs to be more underneath it. You need to feel the depth of it. There needs to be more being built. All right. And you know what? My husband actually gave some notes. He said, if you can keep the lock to that door, to your time and space open to that person, that skeleton key will surely keep getting used on an old lock or a new one. Okay, honey. It can show up in an unassuming way in the early stage of dating because you don't want to open up and share too much too fast. And this is so important. Not to say it should take forever, like for intimacy to be built or anything like that. However, you don't want to lay everything out on the table. You don't want to give your entire, levels of intimacy to everyone. It needs to be built. Okay, so let's go ahead for my people that are in relationships or are married. Okay? So some of the things are the same, but it's going to show up different in marriage. So I'm going to point that out. So breadcrumbing. Now, in a marriage, breadcrumbing is going to show up like your partner does just enough, like through manipulation, to keep avoiding dealing with issues tied to disagreements or misunderstandings, right? So they're probably just going to try to appease you. This person might just say sorry, but never ever like rectify the issue. So maybe they don't like conflict. So they're just going to kind of appease you with the apology, but never really address what the misunderstanding was, because they're trying to avoid dealing with the issues. So it's always like just a little bit, just enough, never really getting to the core of the matter. And you will know that this is breadcrumbing because you'll continue to have the same issues over and over again. It'll be a cycle. Every couple of weeks, every couple of months, the same thing will recur over and over again. Gifts and sweet talk. Nothing wrong with gifts, especially in a marriage. You should assume that you should be getting your gifts, your sweet talk, your letters, all of these things. But when they are using them as like a sympathy plight, that's not good, right? They can be a love language. They can be a display of your love. Absolutely, that is beautiful. But again, when it's being used as a way to avoid change or as a way to avoid issues that you've had, if they're just using it as a means of not handling misunderstandings or as a means of not addressing things that are concerns to you or things that you have asked them to address, that's food and circus. In a marriage, one thing that may be different that can be used is the kids and responsibilities. So this can be used both positively and negatively. They could be using the kids or your responsibilities as a positive distraction, like doing really great things for the kids, being involved with them, picking up responsibilities around the house, which is helpful. So you might like that. But again, they could be doing it as a means to avoid the real things that you have asked them to address. So it's like, I'm going to be good in this area while avoiding what you really asked me to do. So food and circus, so you won't pay attention to the fact that I'm not doing this over here, right? So it's also taking advantage or using conversations about kids, family, other responsibilities to avoid the other things, right? The other real issues. And the final one, like in a marriage or relationship, is displays of intimacy with no real connection though. So imagine, in your relationship, your marriage, and your partner is setting up these romantic like dates and things like that, but it literally is just their physical act. There's no real connection there. It literally is just set up so they can meet a physical need. They're not caring about the actual intimacy that goes with it, how you feel. They're not caring about your emotional connection to the act. It literally is just their display of the intimacy. Nothing about the real intimacy. So there's no real connection there. It's just a display. So let me do a quick recap for anyone that is just tuning in. Obviously, you can go back and catch the whole lesson in totality because we are about to go into the Q&A. But for my singles, what I mentioned in regards to food and circus, which are the distractions that can take you away from your love journey for singles, it can be gifts and entertainment, breadcrumbing, flirting without real intimacy, gestures that are just to appease. And in a relationship or marriage, it can be breadcrumbing, gifts and sweet talk, the kids and other responsibilities, and displays of intimacy that are that just displays. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the comments and open it up for Q&A. What are your thoughts tonight? Well, if the conversation isn't happening, it is so easy for unspoken expectations to become a consistent trigger for both of you. That's really good. And we know, especially in marriage, like unspoken expectations, I mean, they legitimately equal unhappiness and resentment that just grows over time, and it makes the triggers even worse. So good point, honey. Thank you so much. Alice has a bullseye, meaning we hit it, we nailed it tonight. So let me know, guys, what are your questions? How many of you have experienced food and circus? Now, have any of you heard of this before? Have any of you heard of this as a thing? I think I'm doing good now. I also realized I dealt with some of those things in the past relationships. That makes me feel great. I'm like smiling reading that, Alice. That means you're in a good place. You can recognize that you were dealing with it before, but you're in a good space now. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna leave that there for a minute because that just feels nice. Oh, Brianna. Let me put that up there. Hold on. My whole engagement was all this except the gifts. And, you know, the difficulty with food and circus, right, is you'll probably never know if the person was doing it on purpose. Like whether they set out to do that or like they're just wired like that, right? Like whether they had the intention and just were trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or they just didn't know no better and, you know, couldn't move forward because they didn't know any better. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. You weren't moving forward. You weren't getting the commitment. You weren't getting what you deserved. Good thing you are out of that. Yes, baby. We got to clap it up for Alice. I hadn't heard of that term before in relation. Yeah, I didn't hear of it in terms of relationship. I heard, what'd you say, Mom? You like the flirting one? I hadn't heard of it in terms of relationship. But that's one of the things I enjoy about teaching is taking things from business and relating it to relationships, right? Because in my former life, when I was a manager of people, I believe that's why I was such a great manager, because I was so good at relationships, right? I could get anyone to meet whatever metrics. Like they used to always give me the troublesome employees, and I could get them to shape up, like people that would never be performing, never showing up to work. I could get them to perform, but it's because I just understood people well. So I think that's where I developed like my ability to kind of teach and coach, because I would take things that I learned in business and I would apply them to love and relationships. So I never heard any other coaches talk about this in this way. But I'm like, it's the same thing. It shows up in dating. You just gotta, draw the similarities, I think. Yes. Great revelation. I think it's really impressive when you guys come on here and you have these aha moments where you can take the lesson and you're like, yo, like you draw the conclusions yourself. Yup. It does. It has so many parallels. Like, yo, that makes so much sense. I just want to experience a man being generous and nice to me because that's just it. And you know what, Brianna? You are going to enjoy such a freedom to be just a girl, right? Like, I'm just a girl. When you have that gentleman who is generous because he's just the gentleman, and you're not thinking like, oh, his generosity is attached to like my behavior or something I'm doing to earn it. He's just showing up like, I'm just a guy, I'm just generous. I'm just a gentleman. It's going to be so freeing for you, and I'm going to enjoy watching you go through that. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Some people call it bait and switch. Narcissists use it to blame you for the cut and bleeding they inflicted upon you. Yes, that's a good parallel to make too, honey. People draw you in with the things that they know, like that kind of shiny new object that's going to get your attention, and then the dullness of it wears off. Who he is, I'm truly just not even trying to meet anyone anymore. I mean, I've told you guys time and time again, that's why the work we're doing, it's going to attract him. You're not going to be trying. You're just going to be busy just being a girl like you're doing, and he's just going to appear. And it's going to be like, oh, he's just here, just doing him, and I'm just enjoying. Hey, SZA, okay. Even in the simplest ways, like holding the door is joyous. Yes, look at my smile just reading that. I'm just trying to grow this year. I'm over all of this. You know what, Brianna, that's the best place to be, because when you stop trying, it's like God feels like you gave him permission to take over. You know what I mean? Like when I finally said, you know what, God, I've done it. I've tried it my way. I have tried to take control and make these things happen, and I have not done a good job. Clearly, look at my life. Look at what has happened. Take over. Like, I'm done. I'm done trying to force these things. I'm done trying to make this amazing man come. I am just going to focus on getting to know God, getting to know who God sees me as, like learning to just be the amazing woman that God designed me to be. And when I did that, I just got so happy within myself. I became the most beautifulest me. I saw myself as so much more beautiful than I had ever seen myself. And that is what attracted the life that I loved. So it's happening, Brie. This is the space where you're just like, you know what? I'm sick of trying. I'm sick of trying to make this happen. I'm sick of trying to make this man appear, and I'm over it. Yes, this is a good space. And here's some encouragement from Will. You will, Bree, because you're going to let him know when he's right. Yep. Alice, oh, I know all about that bait and switch. It makes me extremely cautious and sometimes hesitant in dating now. Yeah, because we feel like we were tricked, right? We've all had that person that presented one way. They sold us a dream. They sold us that they were going to give us one thing, the food and the circus. We're like, oh, this is nice. I can get with this. This is what I like. but deep down, that's not what it was. And the truth of the matter is, right? Let's be honest. We could get stuck in the belief like, oh, they're just a bad person. It's messed up that they fed me food in circus, but we know here, you know, we study love attraction and we also are very accountable here. And our accountability allows us to be empowered to create the lives we want to experience. So, our accountability lets us know that we also chose to get wrapped up in the food and circus. So, there were also signs that we either neglected, right? We neglected at some point, or we chose to just continue to keep getting wrapped up in the food and circus and ignore the certain things, or only want to see the version of the person that we created in our minds or things we wanted to be true. Some version of that is true for all of us that stayed in things too long when we realized it was only food and circus. Those things are also true. So we're here now. We're out of those situations, and now we're loving on ourselves, and we are going to either attract the new people or the new versions of the love that we have now. Yes, and we're all giving Brianna our love and encouragement. You're going to meet someone that's going to adore you. Absolutely, because you deserve to be adored the way we adore you. That's why we're here adoring on you. So you deserve that from the special gentleman that gets to be in your life. Yep, when you know, you will know. Oh, hold on. My husband got a whole word for y'all, so get ready. It's going to be on the screen. It's a long one and a good one. Hold on. Ladies, if you encounter a man like this, odds are that is a part of who he is. I'm going to let that sit. Let me start that over, okay? Ladies, if you encounter a man like this, meaning a man that is giving food in circus, odds are that is a part of who he is. And changing isn't on the priority list because of the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Save your time and space for that one who is authentic about how he feels about you. And honestly, lets you know and see it. Listen, all the ladies in my membership, all my Queen's Court members, you know how much Will loves you all and pours into you and wants the best for you. He gives it to you straight. He tells you the truth about men. He does not hold back. And he's very clear about men are who they are. You're not changing them. Now, you can certainly encourage them. You can certainly inspire them to be their best selves. But if a man's not generous, you're not making him generous. Right? If he's not genuine, you're not making him genuine. If he doesn't believe in providing, you're not making him a provider. So this is a man telling us this, right? So if you're not going to listen to me say it, please listen to a man say it. Okay? He's letting us know. And if you are new around here, we have a community where we pour into. So it is myself, I'm Deanna the Love Guide, and my husband, Coach Will. We are in there. So you get both sides of the coin. You get the feminine, female perspective, and you get the healthy, masculine, male perspective, right? So you can join our membership. And I do have a special offer at the end of our call if you're interested. Alice, I thought I met the second coming of Jesus. And the whole time Satan had him on the payroll, working overtime. Man, they get us good. Let me just tell you, the men that have mastered food and circus, it's not because they're going to trick you a little bit. No. Food and circus means they about to really mess you up. Okay? It's not for a little slip up, right? The devil is not involved in little things, right? He's not involved in little things. He doesn't care about people that don't matter to God, right? He wants the people close to God. He wants the people that God, you know, adores. He wants the people that want to be close to God, want to be pleasing to God. So of course, it's going to be those situations where you're like, "Man, this is good. This got to be it." No. The rope a dope, right? Yeah. Oh no, we know you ain't sad, Bree. You always got a smile for us. You're always uplifting others. You always got a good word for everyone else. You are always spreading positivity and you are always supporting everyone else. So we just wanted to take a moment to do that for you. That's all. Tired of being frustrated. Yeah, we get it. We get it. Oh, thank you, Alice. We are so thankful for you all. Like, oh my goodness, we couldn't pray for a better community of women. We absolutely could not. You all are in there. You're committed. You are doing the self work. You are growing. You prove to us like why we need to keep doing this work, right? Imagine, like, all the hours that we physically show up, all the posting, all of like, you have a business and you have to go live and you have to prepare content, so what goes into that part of it. So the hours that we're physically showing up. You also know the hours it takes us to prepare these things. But think about the hours that we spend praying, going to God on your behalf about these things, the planning and preparation for topics and different things like that. Imagine how hard it would be if we were doing that and you guys weren't showing any progress. You guys weren't getting the lessons. Like, we would still have to show up because it's our calling, right? It's our purpose. But it would be a lot harder. It's actually so fun. And I get to do it with my partner. So it's like, man, God chose me to do this. And then he allowed me to have a love that fills my life, and I get to do my purpose with him. It's so beautiful. I know a lot of coaches that I watch and I'm like, dang, this is a lot of work to do. It really is. And I don't know how you could do this if your partner was not like involved in it, because it takes a lot of my time. And if my husband was not a part of it, I would be taking a lot of time from him to do it. But because he does a lot of it with me and we use a lot of our relationship, like, oh my goodness, baby, I wish you could get on so we could talk about our date weekend. Y'all, we might have to go live in the membership and tell y'all about our recent date and what happened. But we use our dates and our real marriage to give us a lot of this information. Okay, what my baby say? He ain't refilling that food in Circus bucket in no sink. Baby, you always say I'm witty, but you be coming with like some really funny stuff. You be cracking me up. He's pulling up to the ocean and making that withdrawal. Listen, you ain't lie about that. You ain't lying about that. Bree, you're choosing you. And the man, yes, and the man will see that. Absolutely. Any other questions about the topic? Or I see quite a few people on, and I'm assuming you guys are new or you have not introduced yourself. So if you have questions about who I am, who my husband is, what we do every week, you just have a relationship question, I'm open to helping with that. I'm giving you some guidance. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Alice. You help keep my bucket filled. I love you so much for that. Thank you. Your appreciation really does go a long way, because this is honestly a very thankless job a lot of the time. So I want you to know I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yes, anybody, if you have any questions, while I wait and give you guys a few minutes, if you have any relationship questions, like dating scenarios, anything like that, I'm open to it. It's funny how I've gotten some energy. You guys have like given me some energy back. Let me give my coaching gem while I give you guys a couple of minutes for that. So my coaching gem is don't allow distractions, food and circus, to take away from the matters at hand. You deserve the very best, real commitment, but at the very least, clarity when that isn't an option. Clarity should be, okay? Um, Now for my offer, right? In the month of March, I am doing a course. It is a 4-week course. I'm not publicly mentioning it. Right now, there is a special offer. If you are interested in working with me, my course normally is 4 figures. Okay, it's normally 4 figures. But God has put it on my heart to be more accessible and affordable, to give a few people that have wanted to work with me the opportunity. So I have a special offer. This class is only going to be for 10 women. 10 women. If you are a woman who likes my coaching style, you have watched my videos and you have learned some lessons, you are either already in my free community, you follow me on Facebook, you follow me on Instagram, you somehow relate to me. You feel like I'm the big sister, I'm the auntie. You feel like I get you, I'm talking to you, you're learning from me. If you would like to learn directly from me, I have an introductory level course. And what that means is in 4 weeks, I break down love attraction principles. So we are going to eliminate your limiting beliefs, first of all. So the barriers, the things that are getting in your way from you actually attracting the love that you deserve into your life, we're going to get rid of those, right? I'm going to teach you the basics of love attraction. So how to attract love, right? I'm going to teach you a little bit about journaling, how to actually architect your life the right way, what you desire, right? I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to put together a power partner profile, what you should be looking for in a partner, right? So at the end of this, you are going to be accountable. You're going to be empowered. You will never be the same. And you will be well on your way to attracting the love that you desire. Sounds monumental, right? And yes, you get it done in 4 weeks. I have testimonials from prior clients. So get in while the getting is good, because after February 15th, the price is going up. There are only 10 spaces at this special price. So if you are interested, email destinationdiana@gmail, and you can just put no more food and circus. I will email you back with a link that has the layout of the course with, more details, the exact start date, the exact layout of the week. So you have a little bit more detail. And you can apply, because you do have to apply. I have to make sure that you're actually ready to commit to the 4 weeks and are a good fit. And if you are a good fit, I'll send you the invitation. All right. So let me see if there's any further questions going on. I'll leave my email at the bottom of the screen. I look forward to working with those who are ready. Oh, nope. That was Will. He's saying thank you to Alice. We appreciate you too. We absolutely do. Right? We absolutely do. All right. So if that is all and there's no other questions, this has been a great live. I hope that, I gave you some value and you learned something new. I don't want you all being distracted on your love journey. I want you advancing. This, love is not a destination. It is an ongoing journey, right? It is Destination Diana, because I am consistently journeying on and I am guiding you on your journey, right? So remember, God is love. We are of God. So attracting love should always be easy, especially when you have me as your guide. I'm here every Monday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I call this Deanna's Coaching Gym because it's a topic-based lesson. So at the beginning of the hour, I teach the lesson, and at the end, we have the interactive portion where you can ask your questions. Please help me grow. Share the channel with your friends, invite them so that, the more the merrier. The more we grow, the more awareness we have, the more love we have, the better we get. We want more marriages, more healthy marriages. Okay? That is what we want. So I love you all. I will see you all next week. And let me see, there's a comment coming. Yes, Brianna said, thanks everyone. So there's my email. If you know that's you, don't hesitate. All right. I love you all. Have a good night.